sit questions that you have over the course of the next 50 minutes. It's noon Eastern right now, and we've got a slate of games coming up that are pretty fun. We've got some pretty big question marks coming up in the later games today and tomorrow. Tyreek Hill listed as a game time decision, or referred to as a game time decision, listed as questionable for the Monday night games. We'll talk about what you should do with that, because that is a pretty tough decision. In the short term, we've got a game taking place right now in London. We will try and keep you updated on anything notable that's happening there. Big game for the running backs. Terrible game for Daniel Jones. Lots of
We've never said that
points there.
before, right? I mean,
No.
that never happens.
I
Well, I will say
legitimately
this.
thought he was going bye-bye at halftime. I legitimately thought he was not going to come out in the second half. I mean, I thought he'd come out. I
No.
just thought he'd come out and sit on the bench, but
Brian Daboll might be going bye-bye at the end of the season. So,
well, that's
and
part of
Daniel
the
Jones
reason I thought Daniel
maybe as
Jones
well.
was going to go to the bench, because, like, what are we doing
Yeah.
here? And as the
Well,
broadcast
look at
said, like, they're calling up plays. He just isn't completing the passes.
Malik
So,
Neighbors has done nothing. The wide receivers have done nothing in this game, and Malik just left the field, and he's being evaluated for a concussion. Looks like he is on the sidelines, put his helmet back on, so maybe that's a good sign. But yeah, the running backs have ruled here in this game, much like we've seen more often than I think we thought in fantasy football this season, Lindsay.
yeah, I mean, specifically Chuba Hubbard, right? Like, I mean, he's been, I think, the funnest twist of 2024. I was just looking it up. He's been on that roster since 2021. So they went and they signed Miles Sanders, spent a lot of money on him. He obviously left with an injury today on a cart. They drafted Jonathan Brooks in the second round. Don't even activate him today after having had that conversation all week. Just a really interesting situation there. But that is neither here nor there. I know that what you guys want us to do here, as we've got a touchdown. Daniel Jones rushing touchdown here.
I am way behind on my on my app. So that's if you started them, and a lot of people did in Superflex leagues, I guess that helps a little bit, right? And the good news is that Malik Neighbors also looked like he came back out onto the field, so he should be good to go. But Daniel Jones gets you 6. You know who's not going to get you 6 running the ball as a quarterback? Trevor Lawrence.
Yep,
inactive. Mac Jones, baby. Lindsay, I am starting Mac Jones in 2 Superflex leagues.
Woof.
Yeah. And I'm actually kind of feeling good about the fact that I got him, because, you know, it's one of the leagues where people hoard quarterbacks like bananas. But Lawrence actually might be done for the year.
Yeah.
So Superflex, you know, if you've got Mac Jones available, you may want to pick him up. I get it. He's Mac Jones, but in Superflex, you know, there should be no starting quarterbacks on the waiver wire.
Other big news for this week, Christian McCaffrey, we're getting him back. He is active against the Buccaneers. Also for the Niners, Deebo Samuel active. Juwan Jennings is active. Brian Robinson is inactive against the Steelers. Jamal Williams inactive against the Falcons. Why are you even putting that in the notes, Fabs? Like,
why?
Because Jamal Williams.
Because it is part of a bigger scenario that the Saints are shot to hell on offense. They don't have Chris Olave, who's now on injured reserve. Cedric Wilson is inactive. Bub Means is on injured reserve. This offense is shot to hell, which means Taysom Hill, and I know we're going to get to that, is a really good play again. And we told you about this last week to play him. And I'm starting Mason Tipton and Scott Fishbowl this week, guys. I mean, he's running routes and he's playing snaps, and they're going to be playing from behind. And so somebody's got to catch the freaking ball, right?
I guess last week it was Kamara. I mean, which, you know, he's always in the mix for that, but he led the team in targets, catches, and receiving yards. So again, maybe Kamara to the moon here. And I agree with you that Taysom Hill becomes like very playable this week and maybe for the rest of the season. Michael Pittman inactive, Juju Smith-Schuster inactive, Amari Cooper inactive against the Colts, as is Keon Coleman. So what does that mean for the Bills? Well, Kincaid was their most targeted receiver last week, but he couldn't catch anything. It was 10 targets, 4 catches. So keep that in mind. Shakir obviously is an asset that is already playable, but maybe even more so now. And then maybe Mac Hollins becomes a sleeper. He had 5 targets, 5 catches last week. Needed that touchdown to help you out in fantasy, only 30 yards. But the shoeless one might be one that you can insert into your lineup under the circumstances. Drake London is active against the Saints, playing through that hip injury that he suffered last week. Brian Thomas Jr. active against the Vikings. Gabe Davis is as well. And then as far as tonight's game at wide receiver, you've got Tank Dell listed as questionable but expected to play. And then you've got Nico Collins listed as questionable, but they activated him off of IR. They practiced him on Friday. They didn't activate him until Friday, which is a really weird just way to handle this situation. Why not practice him Wednesday and Thursday? But I would be shocked, legitimately shocked, if they bothered to activate him off of IR, cost themselves a roster spot that they could use elsewhere, and then didn't use him tonight. So I am fully anticipating Nico Collins to play. Do I need to come up with a backup plan having already reinserted him, or do you think that I'm pretty much safe?
It never hurts to have a backup plan, but I will say this. In one of my leagues, I'm playing him and I have no net. If he doesn't play, I'm getting 0. And it is what it is, because
I feel okay
as you
with
said,
that.
I think he will. Now, when it comes to Tyreek, where I have Tyreek, I did pick up Odell Beckham Jr. just in case. You can also pick up Malik Washington, but Malik's played more snaps than OBJ, but OBJ is getting more targets. And I don't know, I'm a weirdo. I think OBJ, if he gets to play a prominent role against one of his former teams, I'd rather play him than Malik Washington.
Well, I mean, under the circumstances, yes, I'd rather play Demarcus Robinson if he's potentially available. And I know that if you're in a deeper league, he's probably not, but he's a guy that kind of floats on that bubble of somebody that is owned or not owned. And maybe you have him also. So he's also in that game, and maybe you could elevate him if Tyreek Hill doesn't go. Kyle Pitts is active. And then Austin Seibert is inactive and
Zane Gonzalez.
He's kicker 1 this season, so you're gonna have to float him out of your lineup.
I cut him.
Moody is active.
Everywhere.
I cut him as well.
I cut him. And actually, I am playing Jake Moody everywhere. So if Jake Moody has a bad game, you can come back to me on Twitter X and be like, Fabs, you jinxed him. Because I just love the matchup. It's gonna be a high scoring game. The Niners they're close to full health. Obviously, Ayuk is out for the season, so it won't be completely, but I do dig me a little Jake Moody in this game against the Bucs.
Yep. Let's get to your questions. I see in the chat that there's a lot of Nico questions. We already addressed that. We'll touch that base a little bit later on, because I'm sure that people will be popping in and out here. But we are expecting Nico Collins to play under the circumstances. And Fab's already said he's playing him without a safety net. I am as well. I don't even know if I have a safety net, but I haven't even bothered to look. I put him in my lineup. If he doesn't go, we're screwed. But that's how confident I am that under the circumstances, they're going to play him. Paul, good morning to you. Half point PPR. Looking for a flex player here. Bucky Irving, Keenan Allen, Raheem Mostert, or he can pick up Alec Pierce, which I don't know that I would suggest you do under the circumstances. Who'd you go with, Fabs?
I'm going to go with Bucky Irving. Before the game against Kansas City, who no one scores points against at running back, he had 3 straight double-digit performances, like mid-teen performances. He's underrated. I'm going to go with Bucky Irving.
Bucky's very, very good. The Bucs, of course, are playing San Francisco 49ers. But I think under the circumstances of your other options, that's probably a good call. Thierry Diaz, non-PPR, so that translates to standard, and that's a Fabs question. Ingram or Ferguson? He needs upside.
So I have Ingram ranked 1 spot ahead of Jake Ferguson. By the way, Chuba Hubbard got a little banged up on this last play, walking off the field a little bit slowly. Can we not have nice things in fantasy football, for crying out loud?
No.
I'm going to go with Ingram, but it's close.
Okay. I think I'd go Ferguson. But as he said, it's close. So, what does your gut tell you? Oh, God. Both of them playing with backup quarterbacks. Get that downgrade. Pete Smith, half point PPR. We're looking at a quarterback question here. Kyler Murray or Matthew Stafford?
I'm going Kyler. The Jets defense has not been great against mobile quarterbacks lately. Ooh, yeah. Sorry. I just saw the Chuba Hubbard thing. Man, I hope he's going to be okay. I'm going to go Kyler and Marvin Harrison Jr. or Juwan Jennings. Marvin Harrison Jr. has been burning me left and right and left. And Jennings has got a great matchup against Tampa Bay. I would not be afraid to sit Marvin Harrison Jr.
Juwan Jennings has been incredible. He's been incredible this season. Yards per route run, he is, I forget, I said this stat the other day. I think he's 5th in the NFL wide receiver. I mean, obviously hasn't played every single game, but like he's in very, very good company. And that is a very predictive stat. And without Brandon Ayuk, he has historically been good. I think Juwan Jennings is a guy who's a name that's not a top tier name, but I think you can expect high end production from him. Hi, Rachel, one of our favorite people as well. This is a guillotine question. We always love your guillotine questions on Sunday. This is a tough one, Fabs. Dobbins, Connor, AJ Brown, Bordell.
I'd have a hard time sitting AJ Brown against the Cowboys.
Yeah,
I really would. I mean, he was able to practice. They took him off the injury report. So, based on the knowledge that we have, he's healthy.
Yeah.
I'd have a hard time not playing him.
I feel that same way. But I mean, you've got Dobbins and Connor with the volume of running back. That's a tough call. You've got a lot of really good options. Congratulations on that roster that you've put together, Rachel.
It's guillotine though, right? Is that, I think it was guillotine.
Yeah. I mean, I know that that's what guillotine leagues look like at this
Pretty
point
good.
in time, but those are all really good. Jay, happy Sunday to you. Also, super flex question. We're looking at Aaron Rodgers, Bo Nix, or Joe Flacco. We need 2 of these 3.
And I got to be quite honest with you. I don't love any of them. I'd probably go Bo Nix because he can give you a little bit of that rushing love. And I'd probably go Rodgers. I don't like Flacco against Buffalo in that game. I honestly, I don't like Rodgers either. Against Arizona's defense has been better lately against quarterbacks. Look at the last 3 quarterbacks that they have faced have not done much. Tua, Herbert, Caleb, and Caleb's been lousy for the last couple weeks. But Flacco is the odd man out for me.
And then Flacco was terrible last week.
Terrible.
Yeah, that is a really tough one because it's a lot of, I mean, I don't know how comfortable I feel starting Bo Nix against the Chiefs. But like Fab said, his scramble yards are off the charts. So at the very least, play breaks down, he tucks it, he runs, he picks up some yards. I don't know. I think I agree with sitting Flacco there. Pitts or Hawkinson, Fabs?
I'm going to go Pitts. I know he was the Pitts last week. Bad dad joke. But maybe we get a little bit of a correction there, an overcorrection. Saints. Drake London's a little bit less than 100%. The Saints are shot to hell on defense and offense. So I'm
not rebuilding Pitts. Though, not tearing it down to the studs. Did you see that Ian Rappaport report today? Like, why do we just keep doing this? Tear it down, rip it, rebuild.
Yeah, they need to.
Level.
Yep.
Anyway. Whatever. I say that without an emotional investment to the Saints. But I would think that hardcore fans, if any of you guys are Saints fans, I'd love to hear if that's what you want too. Because at some point, you have to do this in order to become a viable team that's competitive and can win Super Bowls moving forward. I'm curious about what Saints fans feel about this. Anthony, half-point PPR, Jalen Warren, Tank Bigsby, or Tyler Algier?
I'm going to go with Bigsby in this one. All 3 are going to be splitting the workload. By the way, Daniel Jones threw an interception, which – if you watch it, kind of wasn't his fault, but it's a good play by the defender. I'm going to go Bigsby here. I get it. ETN's in the mix. They didn't do anything last week. I just feel like Bigsby's in the best spot to maybe get us 12 to maybe 15 touches on the high end in that game if he gets hot. All 3 are not great options. Let's put it that way. I mean, Algier's got the best matchup out of the group. So, but I have Bigsby ranked higher.
I sat Najee for Tyrone Tracy, and that was like a last-second call where I had Najee in all week, and then I went, oh, God, I mean, this is the week to play Tyrone Tracy, right? And then in the first half, it was like, what are we doing here?
I know.
What are we doing? This is the matchup. God. Give him the ball. So
quarters. Yeah.
Thank God he just made it happen for himself.
Chuba Hubbard's back in the game, so thank goodness for Carolina. So
Facebook user. How does that come across as Facebook user? That's interesting.
I don't know. Maybe that's their name.
I mean, I guess that's possible. Creating an anonymous account on Facebook. You call yourself Facebook user Purdy or Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, you honestly, I mean, this is a thought-provoking question because Purdy's got one of the best matchups in the entire league at quarterback, and Daniels doesn't. But because of my obsession with Jaden Daniels, I have to go with Jaden Daniels. Lindsay knows I love him. And James Cook or JK, 2 great plays. I'm gonna go Cook.
Okay. I would go Jaden also. Purdy, weird stat that I found. Purdy is also up there in terms of scramble yards this year. And last year was at the bottom of the league. Like it's like they've kind of, the offense has turned upside down. We're seeing him do things that he hasn't necessarily done. It's interesting because he's a quarterback that kind of falls into the Tua camp, I think, where people are like, is it the system? Is he that exciting? And then he's finding ways to get things done this year with a very low yak number, but that's obviously because of his assets going in and out of the lineup. Also, Chris, starting 2 in PPR, we're looking at Nico Collins, Josh Downs, and Khalil Shakir.
So this is funny, Chris, because I just looked at my wide receiver rankings. And I have Josh Downs at 18, Khalil Shakir at 19, and Nico Collins at 20. So it's like they're all right there. Look, Josh Downs has got no Michael Pittman. But the matchup's not great, but Flacco digs him. Yeah. Okay. Shakir has got a good matchup. No Amari Cooper, no Keon Coleman. So you would think there's going to be a lot of targets going his way.
Yep.
And Nico, Lindsay and I fully expect him to go tonight.
Yes.
And he's the best talent of the trio.
You're playing Nico. I'm taking Nico out of this. You're playing him.
Okay. All right. I would say if you want to play it safe, I'm playing Downs and Shakir. If you're like, I'm playing Collins and I don't care about it, then I'm going Collins and Downs.
You didn't draft Nico Collins where you drafted Nico Collins to play Josh Downs or Khalil Shakir.
No, I get it. But again, Sunday night game, he's listed as questionable. We think he's going to play. We think he's going to play, but I mean, God forbid something happens and he's late inactive. And then again, if you want to play it safe, you sit Nico. If you want to go all out, you play Nico and you play Downs.
I reached out to people and was like, why? So the Friday thing, should I read too much into the, I'm reading into the Friday, like, why would they do that? And they were like, if they thought he was healthy enough to activate him, he's going to play. Like, he's that guy, right? Like, so you're not, and that was somebody who's made personal decisions in the past. So I just, it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
It was
to
me.
activate
It was
him.
me.
It was not Fabs. Jacob, hello. We're happy to help you with your guillotine league. Tua or Kyler first?
Kyler. I do like Tua. I'm starting him in a league, but I have Kyler ranked higher.
Yeah, Tua's been very, very good in the ways that he's been very good in the past. Immediately, as soon as he got back into the lineup, I don't know if that translates to high-end fantasy production though. Pitts or Hill, and for reference, he has already played Shuba, who's doing well, and Zay Flowers. Man, how did Zay Flowers not get it done on Thursday? Of all the people, everyone blew up, but Zay Flowers.
He wasn't even mid. He was cringe. It was Tyler Wallace.
Why? Christopher Soriano's enjoying the fact that you're doing that, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
The one guy who loves that.
Pitts for me.
Okay. Next question. Thank you very much, Jacob, for being with us here on this Sunday.
What's up,
Paul, happy week 10 to you also. This is half point PPR. We're looking to fill one of the wide receiver spots. It's DJ Moore, Brian Thomas, and Juwan Jennings.
Isn't it crazy? Like, I mean, I like Jennings a lot today. He's had a lot of time off to get healthy. The Buccaneers are really bad against wide receivers. Yeah. I would not be against benching DJ Moore in that scenario. I honestly wouldn't. DJ Moore is, I know he was great last year. He's not really been great this year at all. And Caleb's playing horribly. So I can see going BTJ and double J.
Yeah. I would definitely play Juwan Jennings. The Buccaneers they're terrible on defense, right? Like you can do a lot of different things from a fantasy standpoint against them. So it feels counterintuitive, but I agree with you about DJ Moore in that situation. Matthew, hello, half point PPR. A lot of half point PPR questions this morning. Would you start Mostert or Goddard in the flex? I'd start Mostert.
I would too. And this is Goddard's first game back, and the Eagles may be ahead of that game and not have to throw the ball a whole heck of a lot in the second half. I am obviously very down on the Dallas Cowboys, who I love to hate. And so I would go Mostert. And then for the quarterback, it's Cousins to the moon, man, against the Saints.
Yes. I very much like Cousins this week. Cousins was one of the guys that I was considering playing in one and done, and ultimately went with Darnold in that matchup against Jacksonville. Fipper? With Coleman and Cooper. Well, that's like that show Flipper. Do you remember that from when
I used to love? Yeah, you know why? Because Jessica Alba was in that
Flipper.
Show. She was
Flipper.
very.
Well, that was like a remake. You're talking about
I don't care about the other one.
I'm talking about nostalgia, and you're talking about Jessica Alba. When you're like 25, you're watching Flipper, whatever. Coleman Cooper ruled out. Do you start Shakir in place of London, Debo, or Puka?
No. But I mean, I understand the thought process. You've got 4 really good wide receivers, but no, I don't.
Same. Next up, thank you very much, Vipper. Christopher Soriano. Let's see,
It's
do we have a cringe
our
or a
buddy.
mid or a Riz or
No,
no references
no,
here.
no,
Would
no.
you trade Devontae Adams for McConkey and Braylon Allen? McConkey?
Right.
Did I just
But,
say
Laddie
McConkey?
Daddy. Currently have Garrett Wilson and Brees, so don't want to start 3 Jets. No, I don't. No, you can do better. You could do better. Devontae Adams is coming off an awesome game. I'd be selling higher on him. And listen, you guys know I dig me some Laddie McConkey, but
Okay.
no, I think you could do better than that.
Yeah, I agree. Guillermo.
Guillermo, you got to say what it is. Guillermo.
I know, but
like
then I
that.
also think, like, do we do that every week? And is that played out? And should we specifically not do
No, I
that?
love it. It never jumps the shark. I love
We'll
Guillermo.
ask Guillermo what he thinks. CJ Stroud, Aaron Rodgers, or Bo Nix?
Yeah, I'm still going to go Stroud with fingers crossed that Nico plays tonight. That should be good news for CJ.
CJ has been the most perplexing
not good
for me this week because it makes sense that he's been one of the worst quarterbacks in terms of EPA and CPOE in the last few weeks without either of those two guys. That makes sense. No Diggs, no Collins. But like, even if you go back to the beginning of the season, he's right in the middle of the pack for quarterbacks. It's not been a good year for him his sophomore season. Ridley or BTJ?
I'm going to go with BTJ, even with a backup, because here's the thing. Do you guys look back at the stats and the game logs and what Calvin Ridley looked like when Will Levis was the quarterback? And I get that a lot of it was Hopkins was there too, but Hopkins didn't do anything either. I don't like this for the Titans receivers. They were better with Mason Rudolph, which isn't it crazy that we've seen so many backup quarterbacks come in and actually play better and be better for the value of their wide receivers from a fantasy perspective. I'm going Brian Thomas Jr., even though he's been catching passes from a backup quarterback in Mac Jones.
I will say this about Ridley, though. That was when he was with Levis. That was when D-Hop was there. And I think they were spreading the ball around.
I said that.
What we've seen from him is that target share is just like specifically going to him. And I agree with everything that you said. I don't know. I think that changes things a little bit.
And
there.
Chargers.
I'd still go BTJ, but there's an unknown component there that I think. Well, I mean, there's unknown components in both places, I suppose. Guillermo's back with a Cade Otton or Taysom Hill question.
Oh, Otton, listen, you may be playing Otton over every tight end in the league. I mean, he has been that just unbelievably good. So I don't have him ranked number 1, but he's up there. He's up there in the top 5. I'd have a hard time unless you have, I guess maybe Kelsey, right? I mean, Kelsey's getting hot because the Chiefs' offense in terms of the passing game has been better. And maybe Kittle. I think, Lindsay, those are the only 2 tight ends I'd play over Cade Otton.
Cade Otton's been incredible. And the thing is, like, so we're talking about Taysom Hill getting a bump because everybody is hurt and him being incorporated into the offense a little bit more, I suppose. We already know that about Cade Otton. We know what it looks like. We know it's likely to continue. And we know that he can put up 20 plus points. Guillermo likes how we say his name, so we're okay. Steve needs to start 2 of these 3. It's BTJ, it's Waddle, or it's Terry McLaurin.
So now typically this would be like, this is easy peasy lemon squeezy. I mean, McLaurin is definitely going to be in your lineup. You never take him out. And then it would be Brian Thomas Jr. And I still think it's Brian Thomas Jr. But Jalen Waddle, if he's ever going to have a good game, it could be tomorrow night, especially if Tyreek doesn't play. The Rams are not great against perimeter receivers. And this game is, I think the total's like 50 or 52, something like that. I'm still going to go with Brian Thomas Jr. But this is like the first week that I feel kind of good about Waddle in a long time.
It's a tough one. You and I have gone back and forth about this. I think that the Rams defense is better. As you've pointed out rightly in the last couple of weeks, they're still giving up fantasy points to those perimeter receivers, but the defense in general is not the same defense that, we saw for like weeks 1 through 4. This is a defense that has gotten much stronger since their bye. So just keep that in mind. I think out of the 3, I would probably still sit Waddle just because the other 2 are good options. Debbie, hello, PPR Superflex, 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. And we're looking at DJ Moore, DJ Hopkins, Jalen Waddle, Jameson Williams, or Tank Bigsby.
All right. So I'm eliminating the running back out of the scenario here because it's full point PPR.
Yeah.
So I'm going to end up going with DJ Moore, DeAndre Hopkins, and Jalen Waddle out of the group.
So Jameson Williams stays on the bench.
And Bigsby, yes.
Right.
Yep. Very close, though, with Jameson. Very close.
Between Jameson and Waddle in that last spot, right? Just in terms of ranking?
It's yeah, exactly. Right. Yep.
I think I would
DJ Moore
probably
too.
start.
I actually have Waddle ahead of DJ Moore this week. So in that order, I have Waddle, DJ Moore, and then I have Jameson.
Okay. I definitely like D-Hop. Can you, by the way, hey, what a difference a Pat Mahomes makes that D-Hop suddenly is like out of all of those names, the guy that we're not even questioning. We're like, yeah, he's first. He's in 100%.
Let's hope.
Mostert or Dowdle, full point PPR flex. What do you do with Dowdle this week? What do you make of Dowdle this week?
I'm going to go Rico because the Cowboys are, and I understand the matchup's not great, but he looks like he's becoming, this is so sad, the top back for the Cowboys. Like we've seen that sort of happen. I know Zeke was inactive last week because of whatever, and I don't know that he's going to be heavily involved in. Obviously, Dalvin is cooked. Another great dad joke, and I didn't even get a laugh out of you. So I'm going to go with Bigsby. I'm going to go with Rico Suave on this one, and I'll leave Mostert on the bench.
Dalvin being cooked would have been funny about like 2 summers ago.
No, it was still funny. It's still funny.
No, I think we're.
Do you guys see dirtbags? Do you see what I have to deal with every day?
And also me, Evan, PPR 1 point, full point PPR Tyreek Hill, Josh Downs.
I'm playing it safe. I'm going to go Josh Downs. I'm playing it safe. Not for nothing. What has Tyreek done? And I like the matchup and everything. Yeah. I understand. Right. Like I'm in on it. I'm playing Tyreek in one of my leagues, but I had to pick up OBJ just in case because I don't have an alternative like Josh Downs. If I do, I got to play it safe. Guys, Tyreek Hill is on pace to score fewer than half of the points he had last year.
I know.
And he's had Tua back for the last couple of games, and it's not been good. Sorry. That was my high Larry David voice. Yeah. It's a curb thing.
You like this feels like a trap. This feels like a trap. Oh, my wrist.
Well, you're playing.
I'm game time. No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that your thought process is incorrect. I'm saying that as soon as we go, you know what? Okay, fine. Tyreek, you go
Lindsay,
sit on the bench. He's going to
go 30 points. Friday. He didn't practice Saturday.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
If I knew he was going to play, it would be Tyreek, but I don't.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying that this is the exact situation where we get screwed. The exact one. Austin, Josh Allen or Jaden Daniels. I'm going to calm down now. Josh Allen or Jaden Daniels at quarterback.
6-man league.
Hey,
I don't even know if I can play in a 6-man league. It's too much.
Stop it. Oh, everyone's too good.
It's just like everyone's got like an all-star team.
It does make decisions harder though, huh? Because sometimes
you have fun. Yeah, that's true. Josh Allen, I'm not benching him, even though he's down a couple of receivers. Run. McCaffrey or Kyron. I'm still playing Kyron Williams over McCaffrey. The Dolphins are not good against running backs. And then Kittle is like one of the 2 only guys that I'd play ahead of Kate Otten at tight end. So
I want to say, we can go to the next question. By the way, we do a 1 and done on Friday on our show where you can only play each player in the league 1 time all season. So you're trying to maximize the week where they're going to blow up. And our producers have been drafting a team in the last few weeks. The strategy has just shifted to highest projected points that we haven't played so far this season. We're just going down a list. And I believe that I checked it this week and I think Josh Allen has the highest projected points. So, you could even use that to like help you make a decision if it's close or not close. I don't know. Nicole, good morning. Needing help with wide receiver, running back, and flex spot. Half point PPR. We're looking at Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, who came to my son's flag football game on Friday. The Chargers have a cool thing and got to meet him.
Oh, look at you dropping names. How about that? Wow.
Yeah, is that a celebrity name drop? Do we get like that to come in to the show? Rico Dowdle.
Do that, Vegas Doug?
Jonathan Taylor, Kareem Hunt, J.K. Dobbins.
Okay, so I'm just so
there we go.
So that did come out of Lindsay, not me.
Thank you.
Well done, Vegas Doug.
I did it.
So the running back should be Jonathan Taylor. The flex should be, it's going to be close between J.K. Dobbins and Kareem Hunt. I'm going to go J.K. Dobbins. Okay. Kareem Hunt's been awesome.
He's been so good, you guys.
He's been awesome. And then the wide receiver is going to be Laddie Daddy.
Okay, so you're leaving Kareem on the bench.
Yeah, well, because I can't. Jonathan Taylor or JK, I got to play those 2 guys over Kareem Hunt. I love Kareem Hunt. This is Nicole. This is an embarrassment of riches that you have at running back.
Look at the flattery will get you everywhere. Sleek, what's
It's
up?
true. Sleek.
Stroud or Stafford? 6-point passing touchdowns.
Yeah, this one's close. I'm going Stafford. I'm going Stafford. I think Stafford has a good game.
I think I have this exact same decision in a league somewhere, and I think I made that choice this week. This week I finally flipped it. So,
well, that one, you know what that means? Then Sleek, start Stroud, because sometimes Lindsay, jinx somebody. I'm just kidding. I'm messing around. Pittsburgh or Washington. I'm messing with you. Relax.
By the way, I'm going to that game on Monday night. Yeah, that's not a celebrity name drop, but it's some sort of drop. I will be at that game, and I will say this: the Rams are like undefeated at games that I go to at SoFi.
How many games have you gone?
Like 3 or 4, but not that many.
It's all you.
It's not a high sample size, but I'm just saying it might be me. So I think that we can do this together. Stafford. It's gonna happen.
So bet the Rams on the money line, apparently, and then we'll have to go back and see what the spread is in those games where Lindsay was in attendance. Pittsburgh or Commanders defense. I got to be honest with you. I don't love either defense, but the Pittsburgh defense is more talented in terms of just man versus man. So I'm gonna go Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. Thank you very much, Sleek, for being with us. Next up, we've got Eddie P. Good morning to Eddie you. Also, CJ Stroud or Russell Wilson.
I actually have this exact decision in my Kings Classic League, and I went with Stroud because I believe Nico's coming back tonight.
Okay. Yeah. I think I like
Russell too. I like Russell too against the Commanders, but I'm going CJ.
Okay. CJ. Right. We're going
now
CJ.
You need 2.
Bucky Irving, David Montgomery, or Tony Pollard?
Admittedly, David. I got to be honest with you. No, I mean, it's not a good matchup for Pollard or Montgomery.
It's David Montgomery. I don't care.
No. I'm saying, just strictly based on the numbers, it's not a good matchup, but I'm going with DM and I'm going with Pollard. But neither one of those has great matchups on paper.
Yeah. Okay. Just Damon.
Yeah, the short king, man. These are my people, right? I'm guessing he's not tall.
Is this your handle? Do you have a burner? Do I go Juwan Jennings or Kincaid in the flex?
Such a smart ass. Oh my gosh.
This
is actually very close because I like Kincaid, but I'm going Jennings.
Yeah.
No, with the injuries that they have, you can make.
I know.
And the Colts are bad against tight ends. Bad. But I'm going Jennings.
How do you have 10 targets as a tight end and 4 catches?
I mean, I'd have to look how many of those targets were catchable. I'm not sure. I don't know what the catchable ball rate was on those passes. I didn't look at that. So I don't know. I don't see. And I know what you're saying because you have Debo, but listen, it ain't that bad to have 2 49er wide receivers going against the damn Bucks. They're so bad. Yeah. They're so bad. So don't worry about that. Yeah.
I know the Bucks are perplexing. Mike Gorman wants to start Russell Wilson, Tua, or Rodgers. Which one?
Tua.
Yeah. I think I'd do that too.
Why are you whispering?
Because I don't like any of them.
Okay.
So it's like I don't feel
all right. Now it's your time. Guillermo's back up. Give me a Guillermo.
Guillermo.
She rolled the R too there. Guillermo. That was beautiful.
Heyo. Bo Nix, CJ Stroud, or he could pick up Aaron Rodgers.
Stroud.
All right. Ramondre Stevenson or Bucky Irving?
Stevenson. She's been hot the last couple of weeks. Don't necessarily love, that he's been really inconsistent, but the last couple of weeks he's been hot. I'll ride the hot hand.
Ball glove blueprint, full point PPR, Jalen Waddle or Nico Collins?
Now I'm going Collins here. And you have Jameson, so you're good. You're good. You are insured. Maybe we should get State Farm to to sponsor this little thing. That's good insurance for tonight's game.
Okay. Farb, one letter away from being fab.
Fab or Farb.
Goff or Tua. Okay. Goff or Tua. What's wrong with you?
I've got many things. I'm going Goff. I'm a Cowboys fan for one. Yeah, I'm going Goff.
Yeah, and no, it doesn't matter because you had Jamar. What? Enjoy your win unless you're going up against Lamar. And
that's
by the way, I think
you
would have mentioned that. I think you would have mentioned that.
Anybody out there on the live stream who has Jamar and does not win, I want to hear from you. I hope you don't lose. But I that's something, that's bananas. If you have Jamar and you don't win.
Well, the scenario is you probably are playing Lamar. So if you have Jamar and you're not going against Lamar and you still
Burrow
don't win, that's the scenario.
Burrow went nuts too. Burrow had a good game too. Yeah.
Okay. Chance. Go Hunter Henry or Keenan Allen in the flex. Or roll with Tyreek, having OBJ on my bench in case.
Roll with Tyreek. I'm rolling with Tyreek.
Yep. That one. Thank you very much for being here, Hardy Ward. Should I go Aaron Rodgers or Kyler Murray? Ooh, in a game against each other. I think we're going Kyler.
Yeah, I'm going Kyler.
Yep. By the way, do you guys like my Rob Lowe style NFL sweatshirt? It's just the shield. I root for all of them.
And that's the old school. That's the old shield too. That's the best shield.
He asked if I was wearing a giant sweatshirt, so I just needed to clarify in case you guys.
Well, Lindsay likes to jump from good team to good team, and the Giants aren't good. That's why I'm like, why are you wearing that?
That's an irrelevant note in that sense. Next up, we've got Facebook user back with another question. Puka Adams in London. It's standard.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably sit Devontae in that case. What? It's Puka in London.
I had to process it. I had to go like he's playing them and he's playing them, and it takes my brain.
The hamster a little slow in Rhodes' head, a little bit sometimes, and it's early out there on the West Coast.
Whatever. Okay.
I'm gonna get slapped from across the country.
Christopher, who in a different comment is pointing out, like, who are you to talk about bandwagon fans? Okay, thank you very much for having my back.
Wait, Christopher. Let me just say, all right, the Cowboys have been really great for the last 30 years. You see the nonsense I got to deal with?
You don't even need to say this every single time. Every single time you say the same thing. Yeah, here's the thing. When the Cowboys lost. And who was the team that they played? The team that they played, their social media post said, "Tough week to be a Yankees fan."
Yeah, listen, I know. That's fine.
Because they know.
For 30 years, the Cowboys haven't done. Don't start me. I'm going to start swearing. They haven't done anything. Jerry Jones is the worst GM in the history of freaking sports.
Mute him, Doug.
Ask Christopher's.
Mute him.
All right, I'm going to answer his question.
Thanks.
Okay, so he's saying you would start all three Jets, Brees, Wilson, and Devontae, or flex Najee over Devontae. I don't mind that. Now, Lindsay's saying no. Because you've got three, I don't mind going Najee over Devontae Adams. Najee Harris has been awesome.
Yeah.
But in the games before the bye, he was great.
Yes.
They're giving him the football.
Yes.
Like it was his rookie year. He's putting up numbers. So, like, this is not like last year's Najee where it's like very mid and kind of sometimes cringy, Christopher.
It's not the first month of the season, Najee.
Yeah,
he was also a 10-point a game running back then.
I don't mind going. I don't go. Yeah, I don't mind going Najee.
Yeah, I like Najee enough to have almost benched Tyrone Tracy for him today, and Tyrone Tracy's playing the Panthers, so that's how much I like Najee. Because you got to start your running back against the Panthers. We're playing him in one and done, for crying out loud. It's not my fault if they can't get it done. Bigsby or ETN.
Yeah, it's Bigsby, or you got a little coin, you flip it up in the air. Heads is Bigsby, tails is Etienne. But I'm going to go Bigsby.
Is that where we are? We're like,
with that backfield,
Bigsby has surpassed Etienne.
I mean, look at the yearly stats.
It's the same backfield,
it's crappy. And not for nothing, but they're going to be getting their butts handed to them today. They're wearing the new white helmets.
There.
Oh, I actually have it over here. I kind of dig this. Look at this. This looks nice. This is a nice looking helmet. Lindsay always asks, how do you get all these helmets? Well, first of all, I collect helmets, but number two, I got a little bit of a hookup. These are some badass looking helmets. I kind of like them. So anyways, that's neither here nor there. Yeah. The helmet looks better than their backfield does, by the way.
Who would you play as your flex? Xavier Worthy, Keenan Allen, Noah Brown, Jordan Mason, or Demarcus Robinson?
Oh my goodness gracious! I mean, I'm not loving any of the options. I'm going Keenan Allen, but I'm not loving any of the options because it's everybody's been inconsistent in that group, and Robinson's due to have a stinker. I mean, the guy's scoring touchdowns like crazy the last couple of games. So. By the way, folks, Robinson. Carolina, New York going to overtime. So Germany is getting free football, which is good because this game that we send to Germany The Carolina Panthers and New York Giants have 4 wins between the two of them. Not good for relations between our country and the Germans. So at least we're giving them free football. That's
at
good.
least we sent Machine Gun Kelly to sing Country Roads. Full point PPR, Murray or Stafford?
That's Megan Fox's boyfriend, right? Yes. Kyler Murray.
I knew that's how you would know who he was. Yep. Grant Kincaid over Demario Douglas.
I'm assuming,
yes, and Ricky Pearsall, half point PPR.
Yes, sir, Grant.
You're starting Kincaid over both of those?
Yes.
Okay. David, Bears defense or Vikings defense? Love the defense.
Love both. This is like the Vikings. Yeah, I love. Okay. By the way, I love your dog, David. Yesterday, I spent 2 or 3 minutes crying, and I am man enough to admit it. When I watched the Kirk Herbstreit portion of College Game Day where he got choked up and could not put together 2 words because he was so emotional over his dog, Ben, passing away. By the way, Ben looks like Kylo, my dog. So yes, I bawled like a baby for a couple of minutes. I love dogs, and I love your dog. He or she is beautiful, and the Vikings defense is the answer.
Start Eckler or BTJ?
See, this one's interesting. But the problem is, I'm probably going to go BTJ because I'm worried about the Commanders' backfield. Number one, the matchup's not like fantastic. I know Tyrone Tracy had a big game against the Steelers, but he was the lead back. When the Commanders played last week without Robinson, they used 3 guys. And Eckler had the best game out of the trio, so don't get me wrong. I'm going to go BTJ, though, but it is close. Do you disagree?
No, I would go BTJ.
Okay.
Eric, to our cousins.
Cousins to the moon.
I like it sometimes, like when we get the ones where you're like, "Ooh, I have an answer that feels emphatic here." Because sometimes they're like, splitting hairs. Yeah. Maybe we're gonna be wrong because weird things happen. That's always on the table, obviously, not just for us, but for all of us. But I like Cousins this week very much. Rel wants to know in full point PPR if he should play Downs or Pollard or Mostert.
I'm going Downs.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Mike Gorman, Tua, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. I feel like these are how many Rodgers have we had, by the way?
Yeah, but you have seriously, Rodgers has been averaging like 17 points per game since Devontae's come back. And you have 4 teams off. And no Trevor Lawrence this week, and because he's banged up. So like the options at quarterback are kind of whittled down a little bit. So that's why we're getting a lot of questions about quarterbacks who have kind of been mid this season. I love mid. So that's never going away. So I'm going to go Tua there.
You guys don't. I'm working on it. I'm trying to help us out here. Get the mid killed. No, because it's cringe. I got killed by Chase on Thursday Night Football. Now Rolando wants to know if he waits for Tyreek Hill or if he just plays McConkey. And then he's got a separate question, but let's just do the first part first.
I'm going to play Tyreek and hope, because not for nothing, but you're probably going to get beat anyways. Yeah. And so Tyreek's ceiling is higher than McConkey's. You got to go all high ceiling plays.
Yep. 100%. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. or BTJ?
BTJ. I'm down on Marvin Harrison Jr. I gave him my full endorsement in the preseason, and he is not done what I thought he was going to do this year.
Did anyone not? I mean, like, who was out on Marvin Harrison Jr.? It's weird. It's weird what's happening with Marvin Harrison Jr. It's so inconsistent because, like, sometimes it's there.
Yep.
I don't know. Yep. I feel like I wish I just had a more specific answer as to like why it wasn't working, and then it would make it easier to make these decisions. Nicole is looking for a flex Fabs, Zach Ertz or Roshan Johnson. Already starting
probably gonna go Ertz there. I'm surprised that, I mean, it must be a deep league. If you're going to be flexing Ertz or Roshan. I mean, I was like thinking, is Taysom Hill available? Is Jonnu Smith available maybe that you can pick up and play ahead of Ertz? I like Jonnu tomorrow night. But I mean, if that's your best bet, then Ertz is probably the call there.
I'll say this, my like sleeper tight ends this week. Well, actually I haven't checked. Maybe they're doing better now. But I liked both of the tight ends in the London game. Theo Johnson is like under the radar guys.
Sanders had a touchdown. I started him in my Kings Classic League. He came wicked close to scoring another one. He's only got 2 catches. One's a touchdown. So
for
he's
8
got
yards. So if you don't have a touchdown,
I'll take it.
We're looking at like a big nothing burger. By the way,
Theo's
Tyrone
got 4
Tracy
for 37.
Tyrone Tracy over 100 now. If you get any kind of extra
Little
bonus
yeah.
for that.
Yep.
Jets defense or Broncos defense?
I hate the Broncos defense today. I'm going Jets. No,
Against Kansas City?
See that, and that's the thing. Why, like, the Broncos are the best defense in fantasy football, or one of the best. But defenses are so cyclical. It's like, no, I don't care if they're one of the best. I'm tossing them. Like Seibert, I just cut him. I'm not keeping 2 kickers.
I know I thought about it for a second with Seibert. I was like, well, he's the number 1. And then I was like, he's a kicker, dude. Because when you go look for available kickers, when you need someone, there's always like the 5th best scorer at kicker that's available. Like nobody does that. Yeah. So just cut them and go find someone else. And by the way, Seibert wasn't the number 1 kicker a few weeks ago, right? Like there's some fluctuation there. So you might be able to pick up the guy who's going to be the number 1. And by the way, Cardinals kicker. You said this earlier, this week. Yeah, Chad Ryland is a guy that I went and picked up in a bunch of different places.
Go a little sleeper this week.
He's been pretty good the last few weeks. That was a good find, Fabs. D, Evan Ingram or Bucky Irving? Full point PPR.
You know, I saw this one, D, and I'm kind of, this one's a rough one because I know how good Bucky can be. But Ingram also is going to get targeted. I would think Ingram's going to get targeted a bunch because Mac Jones, backup quarterback type, maybe looking for that security blanket. So I'll probably go Evan Ingram here, but it's close. Linz, what do you think?
Evan Ingram.
Close. Yeah. I know it feels gross, but they're also going to be behind too.
Yeah.
And also think about it too. The Buccaneers are probably going to be playing from behind too. So I don't know. Well, maybe they won't be. I mean, I'm just saying that I think that they could be playing from behind. So that might make Rachaad White a little more attractive.
Yeah. Rochita? PPR.
I think he did well.
Pick a tight end and 3 flex spots. We're looking at Pitts, Ferguson, Henry. We have so many names here, Fabs. Look at all these names.
Okay, so Ferguson's a tight end.
Ferguson is your tight end. Over Pitts.
Yes. And then
over
3
Pitts
flex.
Against the Saints.
Yes.
Even though Ferguson is playing with Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush went 5-1 for the Cowboys a couple years ago, and I'm sure he will be looking for a little safety blanket there with Jake Ferguson. So.
Ferguson wasn't great with him in those games, but that was a long time ago. So
yeah, that was a couple of years ago. So I'm still, but it's close. It's close, but I got Ferguson ranked ahead of Pitts. And then the 3 flexes are Jennings, Dell, and Waddle
over Bucky.
Yes. PPR. I want pass catchers.
Okay.
And actually, I'd play McConkey over Bucky Irving if I had to choose.
Wow. Okay. Guillermo. Last question. Hopkins or Josh Downs? D-Hop.
Downs.
I'd go D-Hop. I'd go D-Hop.
He's playing against Surtain, though.
Yeah. I'd go D-Hop.
I think the Panthers just kicked a field goal. Was that to win? Yeah, the Panthers just, hey, at least the Cowboys are not the worst team in the NFC East. That's a good thing. Right, David? Mr. Gerber, I'm going Ingram over Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
I love when the Giants lose. I hate the Giants. I'm sorry. I'm a Cowboys fan from the tri-state area, so that's like the NFL team that I despise the most. So I'm glad when they suck.
Okay, so we've got one here. I'm assuming you've got Ladd over D-Hop. It's D-Hop, Ladd, or Marvin Harrison.
No. I have D-Hop over Ladd. So, and I have D-Hop over Harrison Jr.
Didn't you just say the opposite, or no?
No.
Was that no? That was he wasn't in that mix. Okay.
No.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go D-Hop there.
Okie doke. Few more questions here. Chris, Devontae Adams, Nico Collins, Khalil Shakir, Josh Downs. Benching one of these.
Bench one. Woo! Doggy. And now I'm going to let Lindsay. I'm going to let Lindsay answer this one. Why? No, because I play it safe and I like the other 3 options. So I'd sit Nico because I'm going to play it safe.
No chance. No chance. Here's who it's between, Fabs. I'll tell you who it's between. It's between Khalil Shakir and Josh Downs.
Okay, go ahead. Make your pick.
Do you feel strongly about one of those two? Let's do it as a process here.
I have them ranked back to back. So.
Okay, I'm benching Khalil Shakir.
Okay. All right. There you go. Got Hubbard against Massimo. Oh, that's a beautiful Italian name too, Massimo. Got Hubbard against too much a risk starting Taysom Hill instead of K-Dot and have a great week. You have a great week too, my friend. No, I'm
starting
K-Dot. Yeah, you got to start Cade. He's been the best tight end of fantasy.
Yeah, he's
the last
been incredible.
few weeks.
Yep. He has. Ricky Pearsall or D-Hop?
Rocky Pearsall. Although I watched Rocky 1 and 2 yesterday on my day off. Because I love Rocky. I was in the mood to watch Rocky. I watched Rocky. Leave me alone. I'm still going Hopkins. I don't love the matchup against Surtain. I'm still going Hopkins.
What do you think about what he was saying there about Pearsall being a PPR machine? How comfortable are you playing Pearsall?
Not comfortable. Not with Jennings and Debo and Kittle. No, I'm not comfortable. And McCaffrey, who's going to catch balls out of the backfield.
Yeah, I think that's how I see it too. I'm not anticipating actually high-end production for Ricky Pearsall because of all of those other assets. Now, if you took a couple of those guys off the field and they were questionable this week, now we're having a different conversation under the circumstances. So, Hopkins or Collins? It's Collins.
Yes, agreed. Okay. Agreed.
He paused. Rodgers or Murray?
I didn't. My dog just burped, and I kind of looked over there. Go ahead.
Didn't need to know that. Rodgers or Murray, 6-point passing?
Murray.
Okay. All right. I think we're good. Fabs.
We're good?
We have
Are you ready?
Do you
have your lineup set? I can't wait until Marcus Tipton scores a touchdown so I can look good.
Marcus Tipton.
Or Mason Tipton. What the hell is the guy? I don't even know the guy's name.
How about that Marcus Tipton? Tipton,
Mason
as
Tipton.
the box score will say, and Fabs.
Tipton. And I need him to do something because I got him in Scott Fish this week.
How about
it's thin, man? It's
pulling off a win. That is rough for the Giants, man. Rough.
May want to pick up Drew Lock. If you're in a Superflex league because he may take that job next week.
Well, I mean, he should have taken it at halftime. So unless they excuse Dayball of his services, which, by the way, as we established earlier this year, losses in London.
I know, right?
Times.
Hey, he's gonna be he's the and I said this a year or two ago. He's the next Mangini. Eric Mangini had a great first year with the Jets, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, he's Manginius!" And then they went to crap. That's what happened with Dayball. Anyways,
are we gonna hear like Bill Belichick conversation this week? Where the Giants?
No, he's gonna be the Cowboys coach next year.
Okay. Thanks for being with us, guys. Love spending time with you on Sundays for the live streams. Just a quick reminder, we've got our podcast 5 days a week. It's Fantasy Dirt, brought to you by Sports Illustrated. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts. Go subscribe right now if you're not already. We've got episodes, like I said, Monday through Friday. We'll go through the flow of the week, your waiver wire, your rankings, your starts and sits, all of that fun stuff. Plus, you get to hear Fab say cringe and mid and all of that kind of stuff. Way
1,000 fire.
Anyway, enjoy the games, guys. Hope you guys are all winners.